Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be diving into some pretty wild claims about the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra.
Yeah.
It's got all the usual hype, amazing camera, sleek
Yeah.
design. But there's something else kind of swirling around this phone that's really caught our attention. To get this, there are rumors connecting this device to MKUltra. You heard that, right? The infamous CIA project.
Yeah, that certainly raises some eyebrows. For those of you not familiar, MK-Ultra was a top-secret CIA program back during the Cold War. Basically, they were researching mind control techniques, and often through some pretty unethical experiments. It's a dark chapter in history, for sure.
Right.
And the fact that it's being linked with a modern smartphone is, well, unsettling, to say the least.
It is unsettling. It all started with this article from a German tech blog. And I had, I think, a pretty dramatic title. Sensation in the Tech Cosmos. Samsung S25 Ultra with secret MKUltra software. And who wouldn't click on that?
Yeah.
You got me there. It definitely grabs your attention. And the blog really dives into some pretty serious allegations. 3 individuals claiming to be whistleblowers with inside knowledge of the S25 Ultra vanished. Before disappearing, they allegedly leaked information about the phone's capabilities, including its potential to collect data on users' brainwaves.
Okay, wait. Brainwaves. Is that even possible to the phone?
That's where things get really interesting. I mean, smartphones already are packed with sensors, right? Collecting data on everything from our location to our heart rate. So while the technology to actually track brainwaves through a phone isn't exactly mainstream yet, it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility.
So you're saying Samsung could be, potentially monitoring our brain activity. What would they even do with that information?
Well, according to the blog, the leaked information suggests that the S25 Ultra could use brainwave data to tailor notifications and even adjust the screen brightness to subconsciously influence user behavior.
Just like if you're feeling stressed, the
Yeah.
phone could dim the screen. Or only show you, calming notifications.
Potentially, yes. The blog suggests that this technology could be used to kind of nudge users in specific directions, perhaps influencing purchasing decisions or even shaping opinions.
That's pretty concerning. To make matters worse, Samsung's response to all of this has been rather vague. They issued a generic denial of any wrongdoing. But they haven't directly addressed the claims about MKUltra or brainwave tracking at all.
Their silence definitely adds to the mystery. I mean, we've seen this growing distrust of tech companies, right? And data privacy concerns are huge these days. This situation just plays right into those anxieties. People are wondering who's really in control here.
Right. And the blog even mentions that some S25 Ultra owners are resorting to some pretty extreme measures, like aluminum foil and special phone cases to block any potential brainwave reading capabilities. I mean, it sounds like something out of a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it really does. But it shows just how deep these concerns run. Whether or not the claims about the S25 Ultra are actually true or not, this whole thing highlights a broader societal anxiety about the potential for technology to be used in ways that we don't fully understand or consent to.
Okay, so we've got vanished whistleblowers, claims of brainwave tracking,
Yeah.
and a tech giant keeping mum.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? I mean, how do we even begin to separate fact from fiction in all of this?
Well, that's what we're here to do. We're going to dive deeper into the evidence presented in the blog, explore the science behind brainwave tracking, and try to get a clearer picture of what's really going on with this S25 Ultra.
It sounds like we've got a lot to unpack. Let's dive in. Okay, so this German tech blog is making some pretty bold claims about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. But let's take a closer look at their evidence. What exactly are they basing these accusations on?
Well, the blog really leans heavily on the alleged leaked information from those missing whistleblowers. They claim that the S25 Ultra contains this highly sophisticated sensor array, capable of detecting and analyzing these minute electrical signals from the brain.
Okay, how would that even work? I mean, our brains are tucked away safely inside our skulls, right?
Yeah.
Can a phone really pick up on that kind of activity?
Yeah, it's definitely pushing the boundaries of current technology. But there have been advancements in, non-invasive brain-computer interfaces. Electroencephalography, or EEG, is a method that uses electrodes placed on the scalp to detect brainwaves. It's used in medical settings to diagnose conditions like epilepsy and sleep disorders.
So you're saying the S25 Ultra might have some kind of miniaturized EEG technology built in?
That's what the blog suggests. They claim that Samsung has developed a new type of sensor that's sensitive enough to detect brainwaves through the phone's casing. They even provide some technical diagrams, though their authenticity hasn't been verified.
Diagrams. It sounds like they really went deep down the rabbit hole on this. But even if the technology exists, what's the end goal here? Why would Samsung want to collect our brainwave data?
That's the million-dollar question, right? The blog speculates that this data could be used for a variety of purposes, some relatively benign, others more concerning. For example, it could be used to improve user experience by adjusting settings based on your cognitive state. Imagine your phone automatically switching to night mode when it senses you're getting drowsy.
Yeah, that actually doesn't sound too bad. It's like the phone anticipating your needs before you even realize them.
Exactly. But then the blog kind of takes it a step further. They suggest that this brainwave data could be used to subtly manipulate users' behavior. The theory is that by analyzing your brain's response to various stimuli, the phone could tailor notifications and content to elicit specific reactions.
Hold on. You're saying the phone could be trying to control our emotions. Isn't that a bit far-fetched?
It's certainly a controversial claim. The human brain is incredibly complex. And while we've learned a lot about how it works, we're still far from understanding all its intricacies.
So we're not exactly talking about mind control in the traditional sense,
Yeah.
where you know someone can make you do their bidding.
Right. But the blog raises the possibility of what they call neuromarketing, using brainwave data to understand how people respond to advertising, and then tailoring those ads to be more effective.
Maybe we already see this with targeted advertising based on our browsing history and location, but using our brainwaves to sell us stuff, that feels like crossing a line.
It really is a question of ethics and transparency. If companies are collecting and using this kind of sensitive data, shouldn't users be informed and given the option to opt out?
Absolutely. But this all hinges on whether the claims about the S25 Ultra are even true. Has anyone else corroborated this blog's reporting? What are other tech experts saying about all this?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll explore further in the next part of our deep dive. We'll look at what other sources are saying about the S25 Ultra, examine Samsung's response in more detail, and discuss the potential implications of this technology for the future of privacy and data security.
All right, so welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking about these pretty fascinating and kind of unsettling claims about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and its potential to actually track brainwaves. We've discussed, the blog's evidence. We've looked at the possible technology and even, touched on the ethical implications of using brainwave data for things like neuromarketing.
Yeah, we've definitely covered a lot of ground, but there are still, I think, a few important pieces to this whole puzzle. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Samsung's response to all these allegations. They issued a statement, but it's been criticized, I think, for being quite vague and evasive.
It is. It basically boils down to we take user privacy seriously.
Yeah.
And, our products meet all applicable regulations. Yeah. But they don't actually deny the claims about brainwave tracking or MK-Ultra. It's like they're hoping this whole thing will just blow over.
Right. It's definitely fueling speculation. And it's not just the general public that's expressing concerns. Several tech experts and privacy advocates have also weighed in, calling for more transparency from Samsung.
Okay, so what are other tech experts saying? Is anyone else corroborating the claims from the German blog?
It's a mixed bag. Some are skeptical, pointing out that the blog hasn't, revealed its sources or provided any concrete evidence to back up these claims. They argue that the idea of a smartphone tracking brainwaves is still pretty much science fiction.
Which, makes sense. It would be a huge technological leap.
Absolutely. But others aren't so quick to dismiss it. They point to the fact that technology is constantly evolving, right? And what seems impossible today might become commonplace tomorrow. They also, highlight the fact that companies are already collecting tons of data about us, location browsing history, even our heart rate. So why not brainwaves?
It's a slippery slope. It really underscores the need for clear regulations and ethical guidelines, especially when it comes to something as sensitive as brainwave data.
Absolutely. And this is where I think the conversation needs to shift. Even if these specific claims about the S25 Ultra turn out to be false, this whole episode has really brought to light some very important questions about the future of technology and its impact on our lives.
Where do we draw the line? How much access to our personal data are we willing to give up, in exchange for convenience or entertainment? And who's responsible for making sure this technology is actually being used ethically and responsibly?
Those are the big questions we need to be grappling with. And it's not just about government regulation, it's also about individual awareness and making informed choices about the technology we use and the data we share.
So what can we do? Should we all just ditch our smartphones and become Luddites?
That's one option, though maybe a bit extreme. But there are things you can do to be more mindful of your digital footprint. Read the terms and conditions before you agree to them. Be selective about the apps you download and the data you share. Consider using privacy-focused tools and services.
It's all about being informed, taking control of your own digital life. I mean, this whole S25 Ultra thing might feel a bit like a, sci-fi thriller, but it's a wake-up call. We can't just passively accept whatever new technology comes along. We need to be asking questions, demanding transparency, and actively shaping the future we want to see.
Absolutely well said. It's time to move beyond the fear and speculation and really engage in a meaningful dialogue about the ethical implications of these emerging technologies. Because the future isn't something that just happens to us, it's something we create.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and all the swirling controversy surrounding it. We've explored some pretty complex and thought-provoking topics today, but we hope you'll continue to explore these questions and form your own conclusions. Remember, knowledge is power, and in this ever-evolving technological landscape, staying informed is more important than ever.
Yeah, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We'll be back soon with another, exploration into the fascinating and sometimes perplexing world of technology and its impact on our lives. Until then, stay curious and stay engaged.